Alright guys, so it's time for us to deploy our application, and first off we're going to push it to GitHub. In this one we're going to be deploying to the front end to Vercel and the back end to Render. So let's get started. I'll create a new repository, and the repository, the front end is going to be separate from the back end. So I'll call this p-invent-app, and then let's do for the front end first, front end. Then I will just create the repository. Okay, so this is it. Now I'm going to create another repository, but I'll do it in a new tab. So let me just right click and I'll create for the back end here. So here I'll say p-invent-app and -backend. So that's correct. Create repository. Now we're going to push both of them up to GitHub. So I'll start by pushing anyone actually works, the back end. So since I'm here, I'll push the back end first, and I'll just copy this bit here to push to an existing repository. Okay, then I'll close this up. Now the front end and the back end, they are in the same folder here. So but what I want to do is I want to open them separately in different code editor. So I'll just open the p-invent app, and then I'll just open the back end first because that's the one I want to push first. So I'll say open with code, and then it's just going to open with Visual Studio Code. So let me wait for that. Then I will open the front end, so both of them will be opened separately. So come here, right click and open with code. I don't have to open them separately, but I just want it to be completely separate so that there's no confusion anywhere. Okay, so I'll open the front end as well. Now like I said, I want to do the back end first. That's the one I copied here. So okay, so I'm going to minimize the front end, and then I'll just work with the back end first. So this is back end, and then I'll say later. So what we need to do first is we need to initialize this repository. Before you initialize the repository, make sure that you have a .gitignore file. So, and if you have already initialized your repository as a whole before, just make sure you delete the .gitignore file. So let me show you. If I have initialized my repository before and I open this p-invent app, I'll see a .git folder here. All you just need to do is to right click and delete it, because what we want to do is we want to push it separately to GitHub. So here in my .gitignore file, I'll make sure I have node_modules and my .env file. Great. Go ahead, and then I'll click on this tab here in Visual Studio Code, and then I'll initialize this repository. So do that and just give it a couple of seconds. Okay, so it's asking me to make a commit. So I'll just come here and say initial commit, and then I'm just going to hit enter. So once you've made your commit, just go ahead and open the terminal, and then I'll just paste in those commands here. Like I'll just right click. I can even expand this. So right click, and then the 3 commands will come, and then I'll just hit enter. So it will just push this repository to the back end. Yeah, so to the back end. So let's wait for it. So you see it's pushing up. So if I minimize this guy and come here, I just want it to finish. So it's finished. If you now come here and refresh this page, which is for the back end, you'll see all our files. So this is all our files for the back end, which is fine. Yeah, so server.js is outside. Great. So now let's do for the front end. So I'll come here and copy this code to push to an existing repository. Okay, so I'll copy that, click to copy, and then I'll just bring down my backend folder and bring up the front end folder. I opened it separately, so this is the front end folder. So later, and then I'll come to git here. So it's asking me to initialize the repository. So I'll just open my .gitignore file and make sure that my .env file is there. So .env, I think I added it when I was not recording. So make sure you add yours, then close that, and then let's initialize. So I'll initialize repository. and make a commit. Aha. So now let's make a commit, initial commit, and then just click on commit, and it will commit the 63 files we have. Okay, so now let's open up our terminal, and then I'll just expand it, and I'll right click to paste in those 3 lines of code I copied. So this is going to push to app front end. Hit enter and then give it a couple of seconds. Aha, so you see it's pushing. So it has finished pushing. So let me go to my browser, expand, and I'll refresh this is the front end here. I'll refresh this one, and we should be able to see all of our front end files. Okay, so you see we now have the front end files, public and the rest of them. So in the next video, we're now going to first push to render, which is the back end. Then subsequently we'll now push to Heroku. All right, see you in the next one then.